welcome back to my channel. My name is Maya. If this is your very first time here. Today we are going to be doing a very in-depth how-to tutorial on highlighting and contouring. This is very beginner friendly, so if you're a beginner, do not be afraid. This video is for you. Now I have a crazy eye thing going on. I did film this, but not for this video. I am going to tag it onto the Instagram video for this video, so make sure you are following me on Instagram so that you do see that video and see how I created the complete look today, but that is not in this video. We're going to focus on highlighting and contouring. I'm going to give tips, tricks, blending tips, as well as brushes and all of that jazz is going to be in this video right here. Before we hop into it, please make sure that you have hit subscribe below. I don't want you to miss any videos that I got coming your way. Also make sure you hit that notification bell as well so that you get a notification on your phone when the videos go up. So let's hop right into it. Okay guys, so we are going to go ahead and start with a bare face. Since we are focusing on face today, we're not gonna do any eyes or anything first. I'm just gonna do that on camera at the end, but we're gonna go ahead and start with brows. I'm gonna do these real quick because that is not the focus today. But this pencil is from Mented, and they did just recently come out with brow products. It did just come out a couple days ago, so make sure y'all go on their website and check it out. This is their highbrow precision pencil, and this is Intake a Brow, and I'm gonna quickly use this just to define my brows. And it does have a little spoolie on the other end so that you can blend out the work that you've already done. And dare I say, I might like this brow pencil better than Precisely My Brow from Benefit. Even the one from Fenty Beauty, I feel like it's a little more sharp, if that makes sense. A little more precise than those, in my opinion. Even Anastasia Beverly Hills, like those are the three I've used over and over. So the first thing that I'm gonna do is make sure that my skin is nice and moisturized. Lately I've been using this Luminous Hydration Facial Oil from Palmer's, and this has literally been like the only thing that I've been using to moisturize my skin lately. It is just perfect to get some added moisture to your skin before you put on all of your products. And even before my primer, I go in with this just for that added hydration. And I figured since this is a video where we are focusing on face, that it would be perfect to use this on camera. Also, y'all peep the natural bun going on. I've been trying, first of all, I've been growing my hair for 2 years. I did, not really the big chop because my hair was already short, but I did cut off my relaxer 2 years ago from, I had like a little pixie Rihanna cut. It was super cute, but I've been letting my hair grow and she is fully natural, and we're trying to rock the natural more often now. So I'm gonna keep y'all updated on the journey. I don't really want to make it a big thing for my channel, but it's happening. For primer today, we are gonna go into this Laura Mercier Pure Canvas Primer. This is their hydrating primer. They did come out with, I think, about 4 or 5 different primers recently for the Pure Canvas line. And I'm just gonna put this on my hand and press it into the skin. And this is the one that is hydrating, so it's adding even more to the moisture that we already added to the face. Just doing a little bit of skin prep before we hop into all of the very dramatic makeup. So after primer, we are going to hop into foundation. The foundation and concealer that I decided to use today is from Nabla Cosmetics. I'm going to use their Close-Up Futuristic Foundation, and this is in the color D05. And what I'm going to do is squirt a little bit of this on my hand and then put it all over the face and then blend it out with my beauty blender. And I did mention on a recent video how much I love the formula of this foundation. So if you have not tried it, definitely give it a try. She is a banger. Don't say I ain't let y'all know the tea. So apparently when you are going for highlighted and contoured, you want a completely full face of foundation. So we did go for full coverage today. This foundation that I use is extremely full coverage, so we want to make sure all of our flaws are covered, that everything is completely snatched in the same color like an egg before we get started on adding different shades and coloring to the face. We are going to go ahead and contour first. I recommend contouring first, and this is not something that I used to do, but I do it now, where I contour first before I go in with my highlighting, only because I feel like if you highlight first and then you contour, it's kind of harder to get that darker shade to disappear or to blend it out versus already having the darker shade there and then bringing the lighter in and blending it out. I feel like it's a lot more fluid, a lot more easier, especially for beginners. So the concealer that we're using to contour today is the Infallible Full Wear from L'Oreal, and this is in the shade Coffee, and I'm pretty much just gonna put this everywhere that we want to contour. So our cheekbones, and you don't want to bring this too high and you don't want to bring it too low. So if you do your face like this, you kind of know that you want it to be defined. I can't even talk while I'm doing that, in this area. So that's why we're gonna bring it right there. You should be able to feel the bottom of your cheekbone when you are drawing this line. I am going to put some lines across the forehead. Now this is a concealer that goes a very long way. We are putting on a lot today, but it's all gonna work out just fine. We are going to also practice blending today as well, so it shouldn't be that big of a deal. This is going to go on our nose as well, so I am gonna do just a little bit down the nose. If you know me, then you know that I do the lines down the nose. You also want to go from the eyebrow down, because if we blend that out, it's going to be a lot more natural and more professional looking if you bring it all the way from the brow all the way down the nose and just starting right here. So I would not recommend putting all of your lines and your coloring on your face at one time. Reason being is because then you start to have problems with blending, and that's the opposite of what we want. We want it to be easy to blend and to know where things go and to really be able to see the color definition. And kind of when you have all the colors on your face at one time and then you start trying to blend them all together while they're all there, it's a lot easier to get a muddy mess. And sis, that is the opposite, like I said, of what we want. So I'm gonna go ahead and blend out our contour around the face. And you always want to make sure you use a brush that is more concentrated, not a loose brush. It should have some denseness to it. And in circular motions, I'm just blending this out. So you see, we are going to have to mess with this a little bit, but we are creating that definition already that we want. This at the top, I kind of always will push it back into the hairline to make it look more natural, because you don't want to just do like that. And then we can see our line of skin that's a little lighter, but if you push it back into the hairline, then it looks more natural. Now yes, this is a very much a deep contour, but we are going to fix that in a moment. We also want to make sure that we contour under here. And I did say on my makeup mistakes to avoid that I don't do this, and typically I don't. However, for the sake of the video, we are gonna do it, and I'll just show you guys how to do it right. You do want to buff it out like the other areas and bring it underneath the neck area or underneath your jaw and blend it. Because it is a great way to make sure that your face is thoroughly snatched. For the nose, I am taking a angled blending brush, going in with that line and pushing it outwards as I blend down the nose. Then I'm gonna take my beauty blender, the butt of my beauty blender, and kind of dust over that to make it less harsh, but we already have the start of our contour there. Next, we're gonna go into concealer, and don't worry, our contour is not gonna stay looking like this. For now, it's looking a little crazy, but we're going to add more dimension. Now we just have foundation and contour and it's looking a little crazy, but we're gonna add some concealer. Concealer I'm using today is from Nabla Cosmetics, and this is in the shade Almond. This is gonna be our first shade of concealer, and we're gonna put this in a kind of a V shape right under the eye and take it out a little bit. You're gonna do the same on this side. And we also want to make sure we bring this in. Depending on how you want your nose to look, you do want to bring in your concealer because it'll help your nose have a more slim effect. I'm going to go ahead and put this around the top of the lip and kind of connect it with my highlight there. We're going to create our little ray of sunshine on our forehead. I like to highlight my chin as well, and then right down the nose. I have this nose shape where I can't go directly down the nose. Some people do it differently. Some people don't want their highlight to be like that. Me in particular, I do. I'm gonna add just a small bit of this right underneath our contour. I'm not gonna bring it all the way. I'm just gonna bring it right underneath where we want that to be defined and kind of taper it out going towards the face. And then before we move on, I am gonna add a lighter shade. I do want this to be extremely bright on my under eyes, and it's also cool that I'm letting this dry down a little bit. That way I'm gonna get way more coverage out of the products. But I'm gonna go into Amber, which is also from Nabla, and just add a little bit of brightness right under the eye. I also like to add brightness right on top of the nose, and sometimes right at our cupid's bow and right at the tip of our forehead. And this is all of the shades that we need before we start to blend. I do like to use my beauty blender when I blend out my concealer. First, I go into the places where it's not going to be as bright, so I don't touch my bright areas first. I touch the areas where it is darker. Usually under here is where I will blend out first. And as I blend this out, as you can see, we are creating kind of a deep line here. I will go with my beauty blender, dust over that line, or kind of blur it a little bit so that it's there, but it's not like, you know, like a straight line. And you always want to make sure you bring this, even though we didn't bring it all the way, bring it towards like the edge of your mouth. Then you know when you look forward, you see the cut of that concealer, of the shadow that you created. Now I'll go in with my chin and try to keep it where you highlighted. You want to bring that color out. You definitely want to make sure that with highlighting that you keep the color in the place that you put it, because that is what you are going for. So first I'm taking this outside shade and pushing it outwards on the forehead. And as I'm doing that, I'm gonna go in with the butt of my beauty blender, because you see how you see that line of demarcation? I'm gonna take it and start to mute out that line and blend it together. See the difference? It's starting to be a gradient of color, and I'll start blending out this brown shade. You see how suddenly our contour is not looking like it's that much as it was before, because it's all about the light shade and how you blend it out. And this is the reason why I like to use my beauty blender for this, is the fact that I have the pointed edge, which I usually use for the concealer, and then the butt, which I use for my foundation, but also since it has foundation on it, which is our base shade, I do use it to blend and mesh these shades together. That way we're not only blending, but we're following the base color of the face. So now I'm gonna go ahead and blend out the top lip as well as the under eye, forehead, and use a more precise brush for our nose. And you don't want to, as you guys can start to see, we're getting that bright under eye feel, but the brightest part, which is right under the eye, we don't want that to come all the way out. That's why you want to pat once you're in that area, because you don't want to drag that outwards. We don't want this color here. We want it to stay bright right under the eye. And I am gonna go ahead, for sake of blending, and bring this on top of my eyelid. See, now you really can start to see where we're going from light to dark on the forehead. And that is what I always love when I do like a deep highlight and contour routine. That gives me the satisfaction that I was looking for. Just seeing that color gradient is bomb. I'm gonna take a brush to start to blend this out on the nose, because this is more precision work if you ask me. We're going to mute it with the beauty blender, but getting it exactly where you want, you can do with a smaller brush. And I feel like the nose area is always like a work of art, because you want it to look how you want it to look, but it's kind of hard to get there if you don't really put a lot of time and effort into it. I didn't do my eyes first for this reason, because I really wanted to give the center of the face some attention when I don't have to worry about eyeshadow. I'm going to continue to push the contour shade into the outside of the face, which is going to assist us in blending this out with the beauty blender in a moment. Now I'm going to go in with my beauty blender concealer part and tap over my nose area, just the middle area, which starts to soften it up just a little bit. See, We already got it softened. If you feel like that got rid of your lines, you can go back in with your brush for your concealer just to make it a little more defined. Then I'm gonna go into the butt of my beauty blender, squeeze it and tap around to mute the lines. Now we have a more natural looking contoured nose. I'm gonna make sure this color is still pushed up against the nose so it get the slender effect that we're going for in the nose area. And we have a fully contoured and highlighted face. From there, we want to go ahead and set. I am going to use my Mented Skin Silk, both of them, to set my face. The first one I'm going into is light tan for the highlighted areas, and then, then I'm gonna go into medium deep for my shaded areas just to set them, not to like make it deeper. So of course, I'm gonna get rid of all of my creases first before I hop into my powder. But you see how kind of hydrated we're looking right now? You kind of can see some sheen. We are going to go ahead and matte this down with our powder. I'm gonna dip to my beauty blender, dip into this powder, then put it on the back of my hand because we don't want it to be too crazy, and start to set. And if you notice, I'm pushing this into the skin instead of like baking. You see, you already can see the difference of it being matte over here and more like shiny over here. So we're matting it out. But I am not doing any baking. I'm kind of just setting that product down. If I want it brighter in a moment, I might go into that. But for now, I just want to mattify the skin. And like I said, we are strictly putting this on our highlighted areas because we're going to use the deeper shade to set our deeper areas. And you might want to use a brush for going down the nose if you want it to be like exactly where you want it to be. I'm lazy, so typically I won't use a brush, but you know, if you want more precise, professional looking nose, then don't use a beauty blender. Don't listen to me, girl. Not listen to me. But for my lazy girls, you know, it does the job. I'm gonna dip into the deeper powder. First, I'm gonna go ahead in with a fluffy brush just to get into that powder, blow it, and then dust over my deeper areas. So we don't wanna just go straight into like bronzing or contour powder because we still have a liquid or cream product that we want to make sure is set first. So that is what this step is. I think a lot of people forget to set the rest of the face where the foundation is or where your contour is or whatever, and just put powder or the lighter powder on the lighter areas. You definitely want to make sure that you're setting that area too and not neglecting it. It will help you keep your makeup on longer. I also am going to use this to set my smile lines because y'all know my smile lines get a little lit. And then I also use this powder to highlight underneath my contour. So I'm going to pat this all the way to the mouth, and I'm actually going to allow this to bake a little bit. I did want to use a lighter one because I feel like just for a brown, more deeper skin complexion, you do want to use a skin tone powder to highlight under there because you don't want it to look too crazy or too bright. I typically don't ever want that area to be as bright as my under eyes, which is why I do that. To go over my contour and make it a little deeper, I am going to go into my Mented by ABF Duo, and this is in season 2. And I'm going to dip into the bronzer side and add that bronzer to my contoured areas. Now, if you have a contour powder, this is the step that you would put that on. I like to use a deeper bronzer shade for this because I feel like it makes it look just a slight more natural, even though I am going for a crazier contour situation. I'm gonna dip into the season 1 bronzer for the nose. I don't want my nose to be as deep, or the contour around my nose to be as deep as around the perimeter of my face. So I'm gonna use this to define the nose. And this is the same brush. I kind of just wiped it on something to get the deeper L'Oreal concealer off. And now I'm gonna go ahead and use a brush to dust off that baking that we did. Another thing that you have an option to do, which I do sometimes and I am gonna do for the sake of this video, is to use a brightener for the under eye. Now, Alamar did just come out with some Brighten and Bronze complexion trios, and the one that I've been using a lot lately is their dark rich one. This is the dark rich one. They do have one in medium. I'm just gonna quickly show you guys the difference. This one is the medium one and this one is the dark rich. So you can see the difference in the shades, and the lighter shade on both of them is a brightener for the under eye. I'm gonna go ahead into the brightener and the deep, and I'm just gonna tap that powder right under the eye just to brighten it up just a little bit. I'm gonna spray my face. This is my Urban Decay All Nighter Ultra Matte Setting Spray. Really, especially under the under eyes, I want this to really seep into the skin so that it's looking natural and not so powdery. And I do like to take my beauty blender and just push the product into my skin. And my loves, we are done. I'm gonna go ahead and do the rest of my face off camera, you know, because I ain't trying to make this a super long video. So I'm gonna do a little bit of something to the eyes and the lips and the highlight and all that, and I'll be right back. All right, babe, so this is our finished look. If you want to see how I finished the look, what I used and all that jazz, it will be on the Instagram video for this video. It will be up sometime this week, so make sure you are on the lookout for that, and make sure you're following me on Instagram as well. I hope you guys really like this video, this very in-depth tutorial on highlighting and contouring. I feel like the methods that I have been using have changed a lot over the years, so I really was feeling like the way I do it now was helpful, so I wanted to share it with my loves. Y'all know I love y'all. If you like this video, please make sure you give me a big thumbs up, comment below, let me know what you think. Also make sure you hit subscribe below so that you are updated when new videos go up, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye.